Three men with 3 decades of separation debate 3 tough choices every week. This is the Pick 3 Show. Welcome back to another episode of the Pick 3 Show, where 3 panellists with 3 decades of separation debate, deride and frequently dismiss each other's choices of a topic handed down to us by the Pickmaster General. Today's homework assignment was to select our top 3 school memories, and for once the risk of crossover on the panel has been effectively eliminated. It is arguable that perennial naughty schoolboy Andy has never really left the hallowed halls of his educational establishment. Gareth may indeed be heading back to school if his regime to turn back time is successful. And Martin is simply trying to dredge up some memories from a school career that ended nearly half a century ago.
Oh, ouch. It sounds scary when you say it like that.
Now, to set the mood for today's discussion, we are recording the episode in the RBAI Common Hall, a magnificent building which remains the centrepiece of Northern Ireland's premier grammar school. Admittedly, we had a few problems gaining access, as Gareth confessed that he didn't have the entry qualifications for Inst, and Andy was just flat out intimidated by the hallowed portals.
1 O-level, 1 GCSE to get into Inst.
Do you know what the thing is? We had a bet beforehand, over and under a minute before he mentioned Inst.
Oh, exactly.
Just under a minute.
They're all the same, you know. And actually, there will be a inside and there will be anything but Inst whenever our listeners come in.
Some of our more global listeners will be going, what's an Inst?
I can't educate the whole world. But anyway, however, we're now happily ensconced in the sound and lighting control room, which is significantly more sophisticated than it was in my time here in the 1970s. So, as you've already heard, Gareth and Andy are here. Are you feeling more relaxed that you're now away from the hustle and bustle of the school day?
No, I was very disappointed at our choice of location. Were you not, Andy?
I'm so
through. Look at all those flipping
all those pictures of
people.
Martin on the wall. I wonder where that is.
I didn't see any, did you?
No, I wondered why.
Oh, you obviously didn't look high enough up the wall, because they've come down the wall over the years. You've got to look fairly far up before you get back to the 70s. But anyway, we're here to talk about top 3 school memories. And we also have some very interesting listener feedback. And I would like to thank the listeners who were only, certainly on my side of things, given fairly short notice to submit.
Yeah.
And they did in their droves. In fact, we're borderline getting to the point where we have not too much listener interaction, because we can never get that. But we do have to sort through it and eliminate the ones that would get us into court.
Yeah, that was one thing I found, and anything I was going to say or anything I received, the legal implications of mentioning names, and I'm actually not going to mention names.
You do need to be careful, because whilst I can edit, we want this to be as the usual free-flowing discussion about your top memories.
I love that. I love some of our listeners know that we're a family show, and one in particular messaged me with a really interesting take. And then the second bit was like, I can't go into more information because I know the Pick 3 is a family show.
Well, there you go.
It.
It's absolutely right. So this is meant to be a bit of a laugh, a bit of a run down memory lane. So Gareth, I know you're working hard to get back to school, as I said. You're
Benjamin Button.
determined to turn back time. But anyway, what's your number 3 school memory?
Well, you know, Martin, I went to 2 schools in, primary school I went to Down High Prep, then I went Down High until 5th year, and then I went to Methody in...
Is that not 3 schools?
Number 6, that is 3 actually. But Down High is still the same as part of. You knew you'd get them, that. But anyway, I recently went back. My school closed, Down High closed, and moved to a new location, so they were closing down the old school, and it was one of the best days I've ever had. Walking around, they did various, talks, etc. So it's fantastic. But
did you find your desk with your name etched into it?
It's probably not etched. It was definitely pen at that stage.
Oh,
so it was.
What an amateur!
Yeah, but there was Windy Corner. you know, where you had your first kiss, all those various places. It was fantastic.
Now, Down High was a mixed school.
It was, unlike Inst. So it is. You did have probably the same things.
No, there was no corner.
Yeah.
It was used. Anyway, carry on.
So my first school memory is knicker stretches, wedgies, pull-ups, all those various things that happened at school. A craze that developed through school, which could happen to anyone at any time, but particularly on team away trips. You went away and there was every team was on that bus, whatever. There was the first years at the front, second years after, and then the big school.
For what sport?
It was rugby or cricket, whatever it was I was going on, so it was that stage.
Okay.
And it was like a production line. The first years at the front, they'd be sitting there merrily, going along, looking out the window, and then boom, back of their neck, taken down the back. Teacher was obviously at the very front, taken down to the back, wedgied, the Y fronts ripped off them, boom, back up to the top again. So it was an absolute fair one of that happening to you, two going home trying to explain that to your mom what had happened. But then there was also another stage in Down High whereby, again, the 5th year, 6th years or whatever, anyone coming in was taken in first year or second year, taken in and hung from a height by their Y fronts down, ripped off, gone. So that is my number 3 school memory.
I'd like to say that.
Down High cannot sue us for anything, can
No,
it?
no. Happened everywhere.
Well, no,
disclaimer.
I'd like to point out it didn't happen everywhere. We did not have quite that going on.
There was no wedgies in.
I'm not saying there were none, but there weren't obviously with the what could only be described as the complete abandon that appears to have been going on at Down High.
Gay abandon.
I nearly used that phrase, but I narrowed it to abandon.
No, it happened regularly. So
It's a good starter.
The worst thing that happened to us, which was on rugby trips, but the hockey team tended to share a bus. So if you were playing Kilkeel, the rugby team would be going down to play Kilkeel,
Yeah.
and the hockey team would also be going down to play Kilkeel. So
Yeah.
I remember getting on the bus as I played for the school hockey team. And, you know, it was the rugby team would have said, right, girls at the front, rugby players at the back. So we were certainly castigated for playing hockey, but we weren't wedgied.
No, we had about 2 or 3 teams would go at once to an away trip, you know, so the younger,
Yeah.
whatever. And obviously the older guys down the back of the bus, and it was like a production line.
I could sort of remember it in Sullivan a little bit, but not like hung up high, which is quite.
Hung up high, that was a thing. And you actually tried to, school started at 8:45. You were hanging around outside, making sure not to go with the racks, you know, where all the bags were left.
Yeah.
They're poof.
Was it the usual perpetrators who were starting
Oh,
this?
aye, it was, of course.
There's
the bullies.
always usual perpetrators. I do like the fact that at Down High there were racks, you know, which they were hung up on, or those just for the bags.
They were just
not
for the bags.
not for the pupils.
No. Don't forget,
I
Down
had
High.
this mental image of just a range
But
of
don't forget,
racks.
Down High was an old prison. So
Wow.
it was. So I'm sure there was a few hangings in the olden days.
Why was it moving facility?
Built a new school.
Oh, really?
So absolutely state of the art school, looks fantastic. And they just moved out. The school was getting old. As I say, it
Do you
was
know,
old
it's
prison.
great that the school looks fantastic. Imagine if they could actually get their results up to the level.
Let me tell you, you get better results in Inst.
Do they really?
Yeah,
Are you sure on
exactly.
that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Good start, number 3.
Yeah, and you know that as well.
So-
I remember the entrance exam for Inst was spot the odd one out: apple, banana, orange, or shoe.
We all said banana. But anyway,
Oh, I'm glad the humour can end with my serious number 3 now.
okay. Andy, you're number 3.
So number 3, whenever the Pickmaster General suggested this was one that popped into my mind straight away.
Did you cry?
No, but I'll continue because it's not a positive story. It's quite a negative one. It is the flamethrower attack on Sullivan.
Oh, jeez.
17th of June 1994. I was in 3rd year, and a former pupil burst in with a homemade flamethrower into an A-level exam that was happening at the time. 3 or 4 people severely burned in the front. We were in a class, I think it was home economics or something at the time, I was like, fire alarm went, and it's like fire alarms every week. There was the test fire alarm and all. We were like, oh. But this time the teachers were screaming, front rugby pitch, and we were going to the front rugby pitch. Usual slow enough walk, trying to drag it out so you could take as long as possible. Front rugby pitch, seeing people whose shirts were like singed, lying on the ground. Ambulances were flying in from all directions and all. We were all sort of huddled in little areas and checked and all. And then people were able to, he was like, who's here present and all, and blah, blah, blah. So then we went back to class. Didn't really know what had happened because it was all so disjointed. Then we went back to class and our teachers were like, look, there was an incident. We'll fill you in more when we know the details. Can I ask, the police have asked everyone, did they see anything as they went to the front rugby pitch? Well, the guys, Mark put his hand up. I seen a guy run behind the tennis courts and hiding. Suddenly the police got him out of there. I was like, can you tell us more, son, and all? Turned out the guy was hiding in the place. We'd all sort of ran past in a way that he was. Now, whether or not they got him there or something, but it turned out he was like a disgruntled ex-student who had a grudge against Sullivan and all. And I look, if you Google it now, it was one of those things that sort of, for years, that I completely sort of forgot about until this was brought up. And
I always remembered it. I remember it hitting the headlines. Or whatever happened to him?
He was given life sentence, died in prison.
Right, okay.
Which, as I was reading in one of the forums, that someone put on Reddit, if this happened now, he probably would have got us 18-month suspended sentence out, life sentence and all. But it was, I always remember at the time, it was the panic of the teachers and the stuff getting everyone out onto the front rugby pitches. People were like, why are they screaming?
Yeah, because it was never like that before in a fire alarm.
No, and why is there people with like singed shirts over there and you're being pushed to a different area? These days, and I was thinking back on it, walking into a school in the 90s would have walked in.
Yeah,
you drove in, walked in. There was no security checks. So where the exams were in Sullivan, in the sort of main hall, you literally open the front door, 10 steps, and you're into that.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because I went to school, as you know, at Inst in the 70s, and we had a lot of bomb alerts and fire alerts and various things. In fact, around exam time, they went up disproportionately. We never made a connection to that. Somebody who hadn't revised. But anyway, fortunately, there was never an actual incident. That is a fairly horrific incident. Unfortunately, if you're an American listener, what happens in schools at the moment is something that's of serious concern. At various times, there does seem to be an unfortunate increase in the number of attacks in places like schools. So I understand why it's your number 3 memory. Let's keep that one at the back end of the thing. But I mean, it's a serious memory.
True.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? And when we were discussing this, I sort of think, like, that's why Gareth started with a jovial one to start. Oh, wow. Our listeners going, I don't want another too deep conversation on stuff.
No, well, I mean,
we still have to talk a lot about Inst, so therefore that's the other
that'll offset it.
That'll offset it.
Again, I don't know that there's ever been a disgruntled pupil from us.
Martin's number 3 when the butler forgot his lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, okay, I'll go to number 2 then. No, my number 3 is proper primary school sports days. And when we were at school, you know, you used to have things like, what was it they used to be called? Winners and losers. not participants. It used to be you go and actually had to compete, even if some of the sports, let's be honest, the egg and spoon race isn't a serious sport. No. The sack race isn't a serious sport. However, one of the things I most remember from primary school was the prizes were out on the table before the event, because the event would be held, and you would go and look at the prize, and it would say 100 metres, prize, first, second, third. Yeah. You always looked at the second and third prizes, because Keith Crossan, who went on to become a winger for the British and Irish Lions, was in my year in school. So all you ever knew was, well, what are they giving us if you're second? What are they giving us if you're third? Because nobody was beating Keith. Yeah. And a phenomenally nice guy, who I still know to this day, but boy, was he quick. And so proper sports days, which seems to be a little bit of a thing of the past. I have a great story from a friend of mine who said that he went to an old-fashioned sports day when his kids were young. And this was the last proper sports day that school had, because he lined up in the parents' race, which they had. and the gun goes off. It's a 100 meters race, and he starts sprinting, but he tears his hamstring.
Oh, the amount of hamstrings go in those
Yeah,
races,
no,
unbelievable.
He tore his hamstring, but as he went down, he brought down 2 other parents, one of whom broke a collarbone, and the other one was just incredibly annoyed. So that was the end of proper sports days. But I mean, this idea that sports day is about participation as opposed to teaching kids to win or
100%
lose,
right.
etc., etc. Sorry, not buying into
Not
it.
into
I
it
look
as
back
well.
very happily. I did not always win. In fact, with Keith Crossan around, I didn't win much on sports day. But you always knew you had to compete and you knew where the standard was. And that translates to lots of other things in sport. I mean, there's no longer rugby tournaments for juniors. It's rugby festivals.
Yeah,
and we don't
yeah.
keep score.
Festival.
Well, I'll tell you now, the kids do.
Yeah.
You know, if Down High played Inst and we scored 10 and you scored none,
That wouldn't be right.
we would know. We would know we'd won. But anyway, that would be my number 3 is memories of proper sports days.
It's a great one. I remember 100 meters was my forte. And I absolutely loved it. And if you won 100
Sorry,
meters,
you were a 100 meters runner.
like a young Linford Christie. 100 meters. I remember every year I was number 1.
You have seen Linford Christie.
Let's not go there. Let's not go
There are some significant differences.
there's
You're more Alan Wells than Linford Christie.
So whenever you won 100 meters, you were fast tracked into North Down Athletics.
Yeah.
So all the top people from all the Bangor schools met. And that was competitive. I was never winning it. When I went to Sullivan in our class, there was this African guy who was brought first year. And I was like, look at these guys. I'll win this by a country mile. I'm so quick. By the stage that I thought I'd won, halfway through, I looked around. No one near me. He was about 50 meters ahead of me. It was like night or day.
But you know,
He wasn't a young Linford Christie by any chance, was he?
More a young Usain Bolt.
funny, Martin, there is a great memory that actually I wish I'd put in or whatever. I mean, I did love sports. I was more long jump. I went to the down finals for long jump for some reason. I don't even know how.
Well,
but
you've got quite a skippy walk.
I know I don't have a skippy walk, and I know the way you're trying to say that. But the one I do remember was the 3-legged race. Off came the tie, tied it round, and that was the only thing that was practiced with any diligence, coming up to sports day. Now, my partner who I always did 3-legged race was Richard Irvine, Titch off the vinyl vault.
Yeah.
Now, his name is Titch, so therefore it was quite a thing.
Lopsided.
But him and I were excellent at the 3-legged race, unbeaten.
It doesn't really surprise me that you've gone on to have a very successful career in pickleball.
Oh, we know.
You know, if those are your skill sets.
UK champ.
Okay, yeah, but I don't know. It was something common here. So is there something common here?
Nothing. I'm just letting the listeners.
Brace.
I'm just letting the listeners make their own
Was that
connections.
off air? Was Martin not asking you tips on pickleball? And
He
stuff?
was, because he's now getting into it.
yeah.
And in fact, actually, he's making a significant investment into it. But we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be a future episode.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can get any decent coaching. But anyway, Gareth, your number 2 choice.
Number 2, school lunches and dinners. So it is. Now, I never got dinners. I got a packed lunch every day, and there were all types of wonderful fillings. But the particular one that I remember with complete disgust was the luncheon meat filling. Right? Remember
yes.
that meat that came in a tin? It was absolutely disgusting. And obviously my mum had a portable camera on me somewhere and said, "Did you eat your lunch?" I went, "Yeah, I did." I says, "Well, you didn't throw it away." She didn't. No, and you didn't. So you were fear of, eating this lunch. So what I used to do was I used to take out the luncheon meat and down it in one, just to say I've eaten it, right? Because you couldn't go back and tell your mum lies. And then I would enjoy the bread and butter
On its
the
own.
sandwich on its own more than the luncheon meat in it. I also remember, which was also a scarring event, was, do you remember own brand crisps come in? In fact, Yellow Pack crisps, it was called.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I remember.
Bright yellow.
Crazy
and they
prices.
Exactly. They were embarrassing to have
Yeah.
back then. And they were lovely crisps, but you just had to hide them away and go, no, I don't really look too poor
Things-
here.
Did you not just pretend they were Tato cheese and onion?
No, I could
Yellow
pretend
Pack?
it, but people would see you eating Yellow Pack. It was the embarrassment of that.
Oh, mate.
And the last memory is my brother James always told me about his friend who got tuna sandwiches every day, and his mum didn't know that you had to drain the oil
the
off
water.
the tuna.
So it's like
And to this day, for every time I see tuna, I always think of that poor person's tuna sandwiches with the oil was seeping through the wet bread.
that is unbelievable. Funny you mentioned school lunches. I was listening to our friend of the show, Pete Snodden, on Cool FM this morning. His listener phone-ins were all about kids' lunches today compared to what they were years ago. And he said the angle that his daughter often makes is, "Oh, Daddy, I'm hungry. I need to, can we go to Tim Hortons? Can we go to Starbucks and eat some lunch?" And he said, why haven't you eaten your lunch? "Oh, I didn't have time to do it. Didn't have time." The same question and answer over the years.
Wild. There was also free dinner tickets. Did you ever buy the free dinner tickets off people?
I remember them as the wee sort of coupon type things. There was a guy in Sullivan for 7 years had baked potato, cheese every day for lunch. It was like an ongoing joke. The same thing. It was like Cheers when Norm walked in. And this guy, he didn't really speak that much.
Do you know, there's nothing wrong with a pattern to your eating habits. There isn't.
Martin, did you have silver service in Inst?
I'm just waiting to murder Andy in a second for about the 9th individual strange noise he's added to today's podcast. But anyway,
To be fair, yeah, I am with you, Martin. The phone has gone off.
The phone has gone
text
off.
gone
He's
He's
clicked on
dropped the mat.
he's dropped the mat. He says you've had a cough in the middle of his
Oh, the
speaking.
coffee looked like he was going to kill me. But now that's out of the way.
Do you know the sound booth at Inst normally doesn't have any sounds, extraneous sounds coming out of it? But bring Andy in. Oh, he can make the whole place sing.
Andy, it's so funny how great some, isn't it?
Do you know the best? The edits go from 2 hours to 4 hours.
Anyway, the one thing I would say about luncheon meat,
Yeah.
and is
With
luncheon.
the jelly around the side.
But luncheon meat is if you take spam and grill it, it's really quite nice.
No, Martin, no. Never.
It is, but again, I came from a different generation. That was actually a midweek dinner.
Like, I'd rather have had corned beef. I was okay with corned beef. You don't
corned
see
beef's
anymore.
good.
Have you ever
But the lunch meat was horrible.
You see Rick Stein and these guys going around Asia and they're doing the cooking and stuff, and let's see the local recipes. And I always laugh when the guys bring out spam, grill it, fry it, put in like a fried rice and stuff.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
But I remember, and I always said this to Nicole, whenever we were a kid and we would go to like crazy prices, and me and my brother would run over and there'd be like ham shaped like teddy bears. So we were like, "Oh, we want some of that, want some of that. Look at that, looks fantastic." And there's like dinosaur shaped ones. Basically, there was luncheon meat. That was the level up.
That was the level up, yeah.
And then there was real ham and
Yeah,
stuff.
there was.
I often look at it now. It's still in supermarkets, and I always say to Nicole, "I'll get this for the kids just to wind her up."
Oh, brilliant.
She wouldn't like that because being French, oh my word.
I'm blaming the facility here.
I'll tell you what. I am giving Andy a new placemat because he
dropped it
seems
about 5 times.
incapable
Oh, brilliant.
of actually
Right.
being silent. Anyway, with Nicole being French, she wouldn't approve of anything that was cooked from a tin. She likes to cook everything having gone down to the boulangerie
L'escargots.
or and a few things like that. But anyway, Andy, your number 2 choice.
Number 2 was playing football in the tennis courts in Sullivan, which there's a rationale behind this. It makes it even better. So Sullivan, you weren't allowed to play sport on the rugby pitches or hockey pitches because they were seen as esteemed places that were only sort of used for matches. Even training was at the sides and little fields and stuff. It wasn't actually on the main pitches. So me and a few of the guys, there was probably 10 or 12 of us every lunchtime. First year, we're like, right, where can we actually play here? Can't play there because all the teachers will spot us. But there are these all-weather tennis pitches round the back of the school that you could not play tennis on because there was gravel and things everywhere. So we started playing. and we had a little 6-on-6 tournament. It was fantastic. Used to come back in and the sort of gravel and sort of mud stuff was up your ankles. And then after about 6 months, Mr. McKinney, the PE teacher, ran past us and he went, "Hey," I can remember this like yesterday. "What's happening? What are you doing?" Sprinted in. "What's your names? I'll take your names." And two of the guys, it was like platoon or something, two of the guys scaled a fence in the school and dived over and got away. So he took our names. There was maybe 12 of us. There was a few of the lads that were playing at the time for the school rugby team. So say there was 4 of them out of the 12 playing school rugby team, and there was 8. 8 of us got Saturday morning detention. The rugby guys out of the team, who he was the coach of, "Don't worry, lads, we slap on the wrist, got away with it." So we, out of spite, were like, Saturday morning detention. You had your Wednesday detention, which was like the minor. Your Saturday morning was like the big one. So it was like, any more of that, there's another Saturday morning detention. So we were all of us as our wee group were like, "Oh, we can't do that again." Then a few months later, Mr. McKinney was sick. He was on sickness for a while. He's off for a few months. Brilliant. We're back in, playing again. And then, same again happened. We're getting comfortable. Then he's back.
Oh, jeez.
Runs past, "Hey, not again." Boys climbing the fence, trying to get away. Same again. The boys that played rugby, slap on the wrist. Us all. Saturday morning detention, second one. That was enough. But by that stage, it was fantastic living on the edge.
Oh,
I am intrigued as to how you play 5-a-side stroke 6-a-side football on the tennis courts. When you're in full attack mode, do you hurdle the net or do you go around the side of it?
There was no nets.
no net.
There was no net.
You just have to avoid the posts.
That was it. Posts were actually quite good. You
Right.
used to use those as the lines. And by that stage, it was compact. It was fantastic.
We had a big grass area out the front of the school that you were allowed to play come summer and maybe September, October. Then after that, there the slide tackles were getting in. You were coming home to your mum with mud and she'd give you going, "What is going on here?" You only had, remember, one pair of school trousers that did you the whole time. And then they actually said, "No, right, no playing in that." Then you had a hard spot and you were kicking around like a tennis ball or something like that there. Anything that was round got kicked around as a football.
Sullivan had this record before me and my group of friends joined in the early 90s as a very good rugby school.
Yeah.
Like, it was always seen as one of the contenders. And when we were there, it was like the beginning of the end. I think it's not, as you
Do you know,
Martin.
that is of no surprise to me.
Oh God, here you go. Why did you even open up the rugby thing? That's what they're, you know what they're like.
That's his
Intense
number
people.
one.
Yeah.
No, we used to play a lot of ball games at Inst where you would run around and steady lads.
Golf as well.
But you didn't use full-size footballs. You used tennis balls and things like that because, again, it was small, confined pitches and underneath the common hall, so that you would actually we'd be playing with a tennis ball. And the games were great.
Yeah.
And there were lots of other games like that, much more inventive than it is today, because I think today the kids just hide in corners and look at their phones.
I know.
100%.
I wonder how many confidences were wrecked by the lineup to pick the teams.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you weren't picked, you know, thankfully I was okay at football, so you're picked.
But it used to be even better. Used to be tallest on the right, shortest on the left.
No, we didn't do it.
Number off 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
No. This was a complete pick. And if you weren't good at football, you were last.
We
pick
were
or that
lucky.
type of stuff.
We were lucky in the respect we played. There was 2 classes. So it was one of the classes against us, and then there was another class of play. So no, it was good. But you're right. The fear about not being picked. Like,
What did the girls do? Oh, you wouldn't know, Martin. Sorry, you're an old boy. So
Sullivan, I'm actually no idea.
I have no idea what the girls did at him. And guys played football, you know, and then sometimes it would be British Bulldogs or whatever, that type of stuff.
At Down High, they were presumably in sewing class fixing the pants that had been ripped during the wedgie sessions. Teaching them useful skills for the future.
That's very controversial. You might have to cut that out, Martin.
It was
Just saying.
It was a simpler. I was laughing at this with the kids the other day. In school, it was our P7 teacher, Mr. McGuire. Right, boys, do you want to play football or do craft? Football. There was a couple of guys who wanted to do craft.
So you sent them into Inst.
You're number 2, Martin.
My number 2 is Dangerous Science with Bobby Greer, a.k.a. the Rab. He was a teacher at Inst. His initials were RAB. But Bobby Greer... No, they weren't RAB. I just
I
looked
was
at it.
wondering there.
Anyway, for some reason he was
I think the G was a giveaway.
certainly appears to be. But anyway, the Rab, he had the most spectacularly awful science classes because, unfortunately, he had some sort of disability, and the boys unmercifully ribbed him for it. So the original story was, when I first went to school, that he had been part of a Second World War PT boat exercise and he'd been machine gunned in the legs. Wow. Turned out to be complete garbage. He wasn't.
But a great story.
That's a great,
But he came out with some of the best expressions, and eventually in our little school magazine, Rabisms used to appear. So
or ragisms, maybe.
no, but he was known as the Rab. Anyway, he came out with great expressions like pair off individually in threes. No, this is true. None of this is a lie. Every time I open my mouth, some fool speaks. Watch the board while I go through it.
Oh, brilliant.
Stuff like that. And we once got him in a science class to spell esophagus 27 times.
Oh, brilliant.
Because he would go, right, boys, esophagus, O-E-S-P-H. Sorry, sir, after the O, O-E-S-P-H. No, is there an S before the P? O-E-S-P-H. And he spelled esophagus time and time again. But some of the other stories were absolutely spectacular, because the class 2 years above me, one time, they turned on the gas taps before he came into the class. Turned them off and all lay on the floor. And he walked in and he found his entire class with a smell of gas and all lying on the floor. And because he was semi-handicapped, he would limp off to try and get help. The boys would open the window, fan it all out, and by the time help came back, he'd be they'd all be sitting there. And the other famous one they did many, many years ago was he would come in, right, boys, settle down. We go, sir, there's been an accident. What's happened? Binns Minor has fallen out of the window. This was on the second floor. He says, what do you mean he's fallen out the window? Sir, he's down there. And the Rab would look out the window and there was a boy lying on the bonnet of a Mini 2 floors down. And he went, oh my word, this is dreadful. And off he'd run to try and get help. And then they'd whistle and Binns Minor, who was up the back steps in it. And, it was stuff like that.
It's funny the way you did the voice, right?
Yeah. I've actually gone gentle on the voice.
Because we had a chemistry teacher who was real, Neil, what are you doing? And everyone said, a real sort of voice, everyone said, oh, he drinks the ethanol out the back. It was just made up story. The guy never drank the ethanol, but because he was in the chemistry lab, he was in drinking the alcohol in the back.
Teachers looking at them nowadays, they were like looking back terrifying.
Oh, right.
There were some very scary teachers.
Did you have to stand up whenever the teachers walked into the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think was, I'll tell you the truth, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, respect.
And do you think these type of things go on now in school?
Nothing like I don't think they're allowed to.
Fun.
Yeah.
There were bits of it where
it
was cruel in lots of ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of my favourite stories isn't actually about the Rab. It's about another former teacher at Ince, who set up, of all things, he decided that he would set up a tropical fish club.
Oh, gee.
I know. So he did. He knew nothing
I know a
about
boy
it.
in Ince probably went to that there. Our friend that went to Ince was in the tropical fish club, probably.
Anyway, he set up the whole tank,
had
had the boys in, they got the temperature in the water up to the perfect 76 degrees, everything was fine. They got it absolutely fantastic, and they eventually, the last thing we're doing on day one is putting the fish in the tank, and then going forward they would look after it, all the rest of it. And the fish went into the tank, swam to the bottom, turned, swam to the top, and died.
Oh, gee.
Instantaneously. And it was at that point the teacher said, is the water 76 Fahrenheit or 76 centigrade? And they had the water up to 76 centigrade. And the fish just went in and went, whoa, this is hot.
Yeah.
Dead. So a very amusing sort of time. Anyway, it is.
Only an Ince tropical fish club.
Anyway, my number
you
2
bring in
memory was Dangerous Science with
good.
Bobby
I like
Greer.
I like that. Those were great stories.
I like
the one
that.
about the gas and all the guys on the floor. That's such a subtle story.
But it's been around. I mean, as I say, that was the early 70s. But anyway.
So whenever I was coming to number one, I actually had written out my number one in full, and then I remembered what is now going to be my number one. But my first one was beatings, and it was in P5 from a teacher who's called Mrs. are, right, she was P5 teacher, and she had a meter stick varnished, and she, if you did anything wrong, I mean minor stuff, she over the hand, etc.
Really?
type thing. It was lethal, but as Rowan Atkinson used to say, a good fatal beating was given. So, but anyway, my number one is I was actually suspended at school. So I was. So
Which school?
Methody.
You were suspended at Methody. That's
Yes.
That's almost impossible. Their
Yeah.
standards are so low.
But it's quite. See that there, Inst boy just comes out. I just joined the school. Really, I joined Methody in lower sixth.
Didn't give someone a wedgie, did you?
No. I joined lower. Boy, guys, you heard of wedgies? No. They joined in lower sixth or whatever, and Methody had quite a large intake of people at that stage, who moved from other schools, and I decided I'd better go here and try and get my A levels. And, made friends, were good friends or whatever. And that stage, this was post-perm. Don't forget, the perm happened after
it did.
O-level. So I still had a bit of length on her. The perm was growing out a little bit. But anyway. So anyway, one of the boys said, let's go out on Friday night. A few drinks, whatever. Went down to Lavery's, had a few drinks, took our pint glasses out of Lavery's with us, walking up from Lavery's to go to the Bot. I'm walking past Methody. We had our pint glasses in our hands. And if you remember, there was a minister of Methody, was called a Reverend McAllister, and he had a wee house, which has since been demolished only in the last 5 or 10 years where he lived, whatever. And someone said, let's throw our pint glasses just over the fence and we'll see them on Monday morning. We'll have a laugh and say, that was us from blah, blah, blah.
Good, yeah.
One of the boys launched the pint glass.
house?
Bounced off the Reverend McAllister's house, ran out. One of the board masters ran out, we ran off, obviously, caught one of us. It wasn't me. And one of the guys grassed us all up. Snitches
What was,
get
what was the
stitches.
chase like?
Chase was down Wellesley Avenue.
Yeah, I know.
Was that down there, caught hiding in the alleyway, going, where is he? That guy, he got caught, grassed us all up in on the Monday
I was just going
morning.
to say, it's likely when you said one of the boys grassed us up, it's likely to be the lad that got caught.
Yeah, it was him. Gave all the names, not just whatever, gave all the names. In Monday morning, had to wait for ages until we actually didn't get our punishment, I think roughly to about 2:30 that afternoon.
Oh, that's horrible.
Right?
Day of
I
execution.
remember one of the teachers, a guy called Mr. Marshall, come up and said, son, your hair's over your collar. Length when you go. I goes, oh, sorry, I'll get that cut for tomorrow. He says, you might not be here tomorrow. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to get expelled. Mum phoned. My dad to this day never knew about it. Up she came, and they gave me a 1 or 2 day suspension for drinking and
Was
to school.
the guy that threw it at the house, was he given a long?
He was given a longer one. He was given 4 or 5 days. So he was maybe 5 days, actually, a full week on that. And my dad to this day never knew about it. It was brilliant.
Well, fair play to your mum.
Yeah.
Top girl for not daubing you in it.
Not dub me in it.
Did you, whenever your mom came, you explained it, she was like, look, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yes. And my mum didn't know you drank at that stage. You were 16, 17 at that stage. Oh, it was.
She did know you drank.
Yeah.
You came home with a perm.
Yeah, exactly. No, she knows that, but it was just.
That's a good one.
nightmare.
I like that.
So that's my number one school memory.
Okay.
Nice. My number one, and this was by far the one that gave me the most happiness over school years. Rathmore Primary, and you touched on this actually bizarrely. Rathmore Primary School was a great school, and there was a lot of kids at the time just wanted to play sport every lunchtime, before school, sometimes after school. But there was this tarmacked area out the front, and there was a tarmacked area out the side, very confined. But see, when March came, there was a field at the back of the school that they opened. And that moment when your teacher said to you in school, guys, the field is now open if you want to go out at lunch, there was euphoria.
Oh, totally.
in
I
the
can still remember the
class.
feeling.
And honestly, to this day, I drive past that field and the feelings of nostalgia creep up. Simple things like you're able to play football and you're doing diving headers, and your bicycle kicks, much like we would be on the desert island until Martin told us off. But it was just such a simple thing. Then you were sitting there school days just went so quick because you
did.
were looking forward to that.
And you're coming in, you're sweating or
Oh.
whatever. And it was the best lunchtime. It was like, even though exams were approaching,
Yeah.
it was I see when we said the euphoria you can now play in the grass.
And it's the simple things like if you're playing football and you're falling over and hurting your knee and you're coming back, you're still playing, you love
Yeah.
it, you go on the grass, brilliant. And then you knew sports day was probably a few weeks away as well, and you would be practicing, PE would be out there, you're practicing running or whatever.
And each year would have their own part
Yeah,
they could play
yeah.
on. No, it was never ruled out whenever you went, this is ours. No one ever went on it. And like, there was no lines or anything, but it was
No.
marked out. If you were in Form 2 or Form 3, that was your little bit you could play in. Oh,
100%.
I have a mental image of Andy's class being released, and there'll be a couple of teachers at the edge of the field, and they'll be throwing balls and sticks for the kids to chase. And they'll be out there chasing around, bringing them back all excitedly, and they'll throw the ball again. They go, but I just brought you that. Yeah, enough. That's the sort of mental image. Released to run wild.
My one of my favourite teachers, who I won't mention his name, primary school teacher, was one that was like, here, whenever you go out, play this, practice this and all. He was a football coach. He would tell us all these things to do. So we'd go out. And if you had asked me 20 years ago who was your favourite teacher, I would have said this guy by a country mile. And then he added me on Facebook. And I was like, oh, great. One of my old teachers has added me on Facebook. It's that saying, be careful you don't meet your heroes because you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
And some of the things I've seen him posting and doing, I'm like, no.
no.
So, yeah. Good memories, though.
And there was no tactics or anything in the football. It was everyone just chasing the
No
ball.
fouls, nothing.
But
Fred.
Again, I used to find it was really difficult to get a good, solid central defender. There just
10
wasn't
strikers.
anybody there. Everybody was an all-out striker. But
Oh, Fred.
I remember I scored a couple of goals in my head. All of a sudden, you were called Mark Haitley.
I love it.
were they a small year group?
No, I don't know how. I don't know how I got it.
perfect balls,
I must have
big
had
head.
that just the flight of me in the air. or
I
whatever.
just got this mental image of you gliding gracefully through the air to knock it in.
Maybe it was the long hair. Remember Mark Haitley had
Yeah.
the long hair as
Hair
well.
over the
so-
collar.
Kevin Keegan wasn't that tall.
No,
You'd-
no,
you'd
no.
have been-
Don't forget, I never got to play with the perm.
But yeah, number one, the field opener.
The fail. I love that.
field opening.
Interested on Martin's number one?
Well, my number one is quite personal because in the late 70s, there wasn't a lot of entertainment in the city. So stuff used to actually happen at the school. And the school at one point was having a big event for the sixth form. And they were allowed to bring girls and all sorts. It was a proper night out. And they
Was it the first time you saw girls?
No.
Right, okay.
No,
just
we had
wanted
seen them in biology class.
Did,
Um,
did our friend listen to the show Johnny Kerr go dance?
to- You did, yeah.
he did.
All right, yeah, makes sense.
And they hired our band to play at this event. There would be a disco, but the band, one of the school bands would play, and they hired our band. So my band,
We're not going to go to the groupies thing, are we here?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Diplomat.
I like to keep this high.
they built us a stage. They put the lights in. They put a sound system in. We brought our own kit down. We rehearsed in the afternoon.
Sorry, was the name of the band Diplomat?
Diplomat.
Oh, jeez. Who came up with that?
We changed it from our original name of Scalamander.
Scalamander's better.
Not people thought we were weird, so we went to Diplomat, and Diplomat was named after me because I used to negotiate borrowing equipment, and so I was known as the Diplomat to go and borrow equipment for the band to play, etc. So anyway, the band played. We were a 5-piece rock and roll band in an era of punk rock.
Diplomat doesn't fit.
They built the stage, but I remember the 15 minutes before we were due to go on, I had never felt as sick in my stomach
really?
or
Yeah.
as nervous because everybody knew you
Yes.
in the school and they were all there. You would hope to support, but in reality, they were all there to watch you fail. And we got up, we played about 8 songs. I remember what we opened with. I remember what we closed with. We opened with, I think, Tulane. And we finished with Johnny Be Good.
All right. Johnny
And-
was a standard, wasn't it?
Well, yes, certainly for a 3-chord classic. Anyway, but we played a couple other things, including 2 of our own songs during the set. And all I can remember to this day is being terrified from start to finish, but also the sheer joy of walking up and being introduced as a band. So at the time, that was my number one memory. There are lots of other memories from school, but that's the one that sort of sticks in my head when you first mentioned
Memories.
the topic and memories. You go, ooh.
And two of your own stuff, did it go real high? And then, whoa.
One of our songs went down quite well, and one was really a very cheeky song that had been written that I probably can't talk about here on the Pick 3 show.
Was JK in your band?
No, JK is your age.
Aye, all right, okay. I just wondered who had.
I wasn't bringing primary school kids in. Wasn't that type of school at all. You know, but
I always think he is the same age as Martin.
Yeah,
JK
sure,
and I
yeah.
have played in bands together subsequently.
Okay.
And he is a phenomenal musician. Just so it were.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
really.
seriously.
Wasted talent.
Although, to be
Not
fair,
wasted when he plays. The man is insanely talented.
to be fair to him, he says he can play, but you can make him sound really good with your sound.
Well, that's true.
expertise.
That's true. I mean, I've always been the worst musician in any band I've ever played in, but I've always been the best technician
Yeah,
in any band. So that's how it's.
That's like our wee band. Yeah, all right.
2 stars.
Although, as actually, as somebody pointed out to me at one time, one of the good musicians in the band at one point told my cousin, who was the lead guitarist, he said, Martin's not really very good.
Oh, ouch.
We should get rid of him. And my cousin said, tell you what, let's get rid of you because Martin's my cousin. So I stayed in the band there because I was somebody's cousin.
And tell me, the days after this event, were you seen as like celebrities around school, or was it just back to normal?
It was more or less back to normal. A few boys said kind things like, you didn't suck as badly as we thought you were going to. Something along those
That's
lines.
double negative, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's really you weren't as crap as we thought you might be. But anyway, that's sort of
That's a
one of
good
my
one.
Good,
top
good.
memories
That's a good
from
one.
school. But when we threw this topic out to the listeners, we got a phenomenal response coming in. And as I said, I only threw it out fairly late on because of various other things I've been involved with in the last week or so.
So Johnny messaged in, getting holes in my trousers from sliding on the assembly hall floor. I can imagine that. Canteen pudding. Yeah, Sullivan wasn't a great place for food, actually. And then jumpers for goalposts. We've sort of touched on that as well.
Brilliant.
Well, jumpers for goalposts has always been a
Yeah, it's a great one.
key thing.
Mine is from Mike McMackerlane. Playing football with a tennis ball at lunchtime. You would have played with anything.
That's it.
Yeah.
We used to play with tennis ball all the time.
Totally. Then the smell of the school on my first day of P1. Still get flashbacks if I smell the same today. And then his last one is school trip to Dublin and Wicklow in P7 on the bus listening to Northern Ireland versus Spain when Jerry Armstrong
that's a
scored.
great one.
Is that a cracker?
That is an absolute beezer.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Martin.
Friend of the show, Johnny Kerr, who we were just talking about, phenomenal musician. He sent me back a note. Ooh, that's a tough one. One that still makes me chuckle is when there was a fire in the W block at Inst. Must have been around 1982. The W block was covered in soot, and someone had etched out in the soot, Inst, ancient and royal, Inst, great is thy flame. Which is a derivation of the school song. He then went on to say, other school memories are a bit dark, so I'll probably leave that for an historical abuse inquiry.
We will get JK on a show one
Did
day.
you have a school song?
I did. Sullivan had one.
We didn't have one.
Yeah. And
See,
actually,
it's beat into you, that school song as well, isn't it?
Well, it's not beaten into you, it's just you just learn it. I mean, the Sullivan rugby song is epic.
Oh no.
Run away from the other side.
do we need to say at this point Martin is still heavily involved in
Yeah, I
school?
think
What's
so.
your role on the Board of Governors?
Well, I'm on the board of governors. you know.
Governor.
But anyway, let's move on, chaps.
Yes, this episode sponsored by INS. Got Laura who messaged in the Christmas break. I always remember as a kid the Christmas break was always one. At a certain age you were looking forward to because you were sitting there going,
Oh, aye.
coming up Halloween, then we got this.
I know, and then you discussed what you were getting for Christmas.
Oh.
I asked my girls, what are they getting for Christmas? I don't know.
And then Laura said curry chips. And then another one is hot student teachers. In brackets, I went in all girls schools. We were starved of men. Very good.
The other one is from Gav, who is Inst through and through. Cut him open. He has Inst tattooed inside him. I can't do his first one, so I can't. I'll have to censor that one. And then number one, winning a cricket schools cup. A guy in my class chucked a bin full of paper balls over a teacher's head once.
Wow.
And then winning all Ireland school table tennis championship. He was a table tennis champion also.
really?
Oh, that's where his pickleball skills have come from. He is
it is.
Gareth's currently injured pickleball
He
partner.
is. And sometimes whenever he does a shot in pickleball, I go, table tennis.
I like that.
Boy, you know how to rib somebody. when you
tell
get- that's a level of
And
abuse.
then if I do a better shot, I go, I'm Ulster table tennis champion now against him.
Ashley Parks sent us through getting an A in his GCSE French when his teacher predicted he would get a D. Jam and coconut cake with custard at primary school.
Yeah.
And singing in assembly, belting out bangers every week in primary school. Got to high school, a hymn started, so I started singing loudly. Everyone else stayed silent.
You weren't really, it wasn't particularly cool to sing, sure it wasn't.
No. No, he gave me a little extra note there. He says, by the way, I got a U in my AS level RE, and I'm now training to be a minister.
Very good.
Paul McCoubrey messaged in, playing for the primary school football team, the most important thing ever. Getting the train every day with your friends, copying homeworks, chatting to girls, and you'll see why that's important in a minute. Annual prize day, singing the Inst song as loud as we could. So chatting to girls on the train was probably quite a rare thing for
very
those
fair.
guys. And then,
Singing the Inst song.
and then
I
I replied to Paul, Martin is a big Inst man, and he replied, that doesn't surprise me.
Keith Graham said Wednesday afternoons in primary school because the Beano and Buster comics were waiting for me when I got home.
That's a good one, yeah. Yeah, Beano was great.
Getting a top deck cider after rugby on a Saturday morning. That was presumably a...
Do you remember Top Deck?
Top
Well, I
Deck
remember
Shandy.
these songs. I know, the cans. I never drank them.
No, but they were like had a
Shandies,
beer
yeah.
taste of shandy. They
Like
were
0.01%.
Top Deck with lime and all.
Oh,
That was-
yes.
It was like a silver can. Do you remember?
And this one, I think, was for you, Gareth. He said, graduating in primary school from being allowed to ride my Tomahawk bike to school and now take my grifter. And so he had a grifter as well.
But how did he take a grifter from Newcastle to Downpatrick?
No, I think it was still at primary school.
Oh,
when
right,
he was doing
okay.
it. And I've written here beside that, no hill, obviously, Gareth.
Funny you mentioned Windy Corner, because Thomas Fagan, when I asked him school memories, first one came up, Windy Corner, where nearly everyone had their first kiss in Down High School.
Yeah, he was my school. Yeah, that's right.
And then he said primary school, lunchtime football was like the World Cup every day. And then snowy day, sledding down the hill on the black bin bags at Ballynahinch Primary. Those are great memories, actually.
Stuff like that. You're just not allowed to do it anymore.
No, it's real classic memories, isn't it?
Stephen McMullen, he remembered crates of small milk bottles, one per child.
Free milk.
Free
Oh,
milk.
yeah.
Did you get free milk or had a big
yeah.
band? Remember Maggie Bandit or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ron messages in
And a
about
wee
that.
plastic thin straw.
He also said old school blackboards and chalk, not an interactive whiteboard in sight.
Yeah, it's perfect.
He then also said a record card, because at Inst you certainly had a record card that if you stepped out of line.
Yeah, we
and then
I
he,
got that.
he sent a bonus pick. He said our annual trips to Ravenhill, but that might just be an RBA, I think.
Yeah, that's hard. Report cards. You ever put on report card?
I was. And do you know what I was put on report for? In third year for music. And I was sitting back going, there was three of us put on for music. And it wasn't that we weren't trying, it was just we were terrible.
I was on report card and you had to get it signed
At the end?
At the end of every class, and the embarrassment of walking up. And it's back to your winners and losers. Remember you used to get ranked in your exams?
Oh, yes.
Where
Yeah.
you were. You don't get that anything anymore. You come because I was 99th out of 100 in art.
My dad always said, as long as I was in one of the top sets at Inst,
He's happy.
and I was in the top 10,
Yeah.
the top set, he was happy.
Yeah. I was
That
saying
began to drift as I went up the school a little bit. But anyway,
Paddy Weatherup sent a fantastic one. I'll read this word for word because it's quite poetic in how it's written. I still remember one of my earliest
Oh, that's brilliant.
traumatic childhood memories at Ballyhome Primary School. The bell rings, class is over, and we all line up. waiting to go home like normal kids. I'm thinking about Ninja Turtles and what flavour of potato crisps I'll eat when I get home. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Louise Polly, the girl who's way too confident for a 10-year-old, launches an ambush. She grabs me by the cheeks and plants the sloppiest, wettest smooch right on me. The entire class of pupils erupt laughing, screaming, pointing like I had just been chosen as the unwilling star of a playground soap opera.
Oh.
And there I am, standing frozen, cheeks bright red, questioning all of life's choices. That was my first Me Too moment in primary school. I thought that was lovely.
Brilliant.
Obviously a very attractive 10-year-old.
Yes.
But anyway, Victoria Danoon, who's been on the show, said, what a fantastic topic. I'm choosing to stay clear of that one. So school memories have gone out.
Couple more just to finalise mine. Raw message in the milk bottles.
Yeah.
Used to get it in primary school, an early version of Pints with the Boys. And then the big TV being rolled in. You knew it was an easy day.
That's it. It came into your class pushing it in. You could not wait.
I know, and it would always be a nature programme
Yeah.
about something like how ants create a colony.
I remember seeing someone on the Peregrine Falcon, and to this day, I am fascinated about Peregrine Falcons.
That's something I didn't expect to get told this morning.
No, exactly.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Jack Solomon, he sent in a teacher climbing out of the second floor window and then being hit by a water balloon. Does sound like the teacher was having somewhat of a breakdown.
I was going to say
The
that
boys weren't exactly helping.
there's more to that story that we need to know, Jack.
Then he had school's cup wins, the whole school being behind the team, so you can work out which school Jack went to.
he went in
And then his
school.
final one I
God.
had to censor because I just ended up writing RBAI, just that. Just RBAI, because what he went on to say was a little bit too
Risque.
risque.
Sean messaged to say, scoring the winning try in the county cup final. We became back-to-back winners. My form teacher, a biology teacher, who had snakes in the classroom and a greenhouse on the side of the classroom, which was on the top floor of the building. Sounds like something from a horror film.
Oh.
Going into a biology lesson, there's snakes.
Well, do you know what I remember actually about remember you had to dissect the heart and all that type
Yeah,
of stuff?
frog stuff.
And then those hearts would go missing during the class and you'd put them in other people's school bags.
Well, there
I'll
you go.
never forget doing that.
Okay, Johnny McDowell, who I know quite well since he is my son, he sent in breaking my wrist on the cross trainer. Then lunchtime on my own when I was having a hard time at school, my older brother and his mates came and started chatting to me and got me to eat lunch with them. A nice memory of people looking
nice.
out for each other.
Yeah.
And then he sent me about the elbow incident. Now, he sent me a voicemail.
Morning, Dad, Gareth and Andy. Dad, hope you're wearing your Inchmarrow cap to get yourself properly in the spirit of this morning.
Yeah.
My standout memory from school was one that you will also remember pretty well, Dad, which was my last day before going off for study leave at A-levels, and got the car down with you in the morning on your way to work. And the last piece of advice, very sound piece of advice that you gave me was don't do anything stupid. And I heeded this advice by immediately doing something stupid. So none of this business of, getting 2 sheep and numbering them 1 and 3, or for people putting like a raw fish down the back of a radiator. None of that stuff. We decided to have what sounded like a very benign piggyback race. Warm day, I stupidly took off my blazer. None of the other piggyback racers decided to do that. In hindsight, they were the true pros. And of course, coming towards the finish line, tried to lean forward just to get that extra bit of speed, and that was enough to topple me. And I was carrying my friend at the time. Both went down like a sack of spuds. And then I managed to open my right elbow down to the bone. Knowing I'd done something stupid, I really did beg the school office not to phone you, even though they clearly were saying you need to go to hospital. And I just remember your face whenever you came to pick me up. It was definitely more painful than the elbow was at the time. I think I didn't say a single word on the way down to the hospital. And when we got there, you opened the door and said, "You want to be a doctor, go observe." I was kicked out, went into A&E by myself, got stitched up, and was back in time to do my biology test that afternoon.
Yeah.
So needless to say, the festivities continued that evening whenever you got home and we discussed the issue further. But you weren't wrong. I did want to be a doctor, and I did observe a few things that afternoon. So
That's nice.
Yeah, that's my fondest memory from school.
That's a good story.
There you go.
Sympathy, a big thing with you, Martin, was it?
I have to say,
Poor Johnny.
I think he's cleaned that story up a touch. I think he got a rollicking all the way to the hospital. He got hoofed out in the door and go. I think what I actually said was, get that stitched up and be back in school for your biology exam. I think he's kindly gone a bit gentle. And in fact, I do know that it has been quoted many times at Inst, since in fact the principal once told me that she regarded it as good parenting, albeit somewhat harsh. But anyway, so there you go. Plenty of memories from school.
Like, we've got so many from school. And like, I'm just going, it really, like, you know, you say you hated school, but I didn't hate school. I loved school.
I think we need a follow-up episode with Victoria where we can ask her
exactly.
why she had no school memories.
Oh, I think there's definitely something we should investigate there. Maybe it should be our top 3 conspiracy theories.
No, true.
Oh, yes.
You know, there's another option. Listeners, thank you very much for tuning in to some reminiscences of our school days. For me, it was more difficult than for the other boys because I had to try and drag from the depths a little bit further. But we will be back shortly with another topic for the Pick 3 show. But until then, on behalf of the podcast, my name is Martin.
My name is Gareth.
And my name's Andy.
And we'll see you all again very shortly.